Hey you guys, I wanted to go over some concepts that I haven't been fishing that long, honestly. I don't have much experience myself. So take it all with a grain of salt. Um, is it a grain of sand? I don't know. Anyways, basically, one really cool concept that I learned this year with me getting into carp fishing. Thank you to Paul, Rolando, and very many other humble anglers across here in Texas, really, is where I'm based out of. That they've helped me gain so much knowledge and experience and insight with a lot of big fish, freshwater fish that sometimes we have a misconstrued concept with them being trash fish, quote unquote. But anyways, let me explain one of the concepts that I learned. Oops. Anyways, I wanted to explain one of the concepts that I've learned that can actually benefit a lot of us anglers, whether it's carp fishing, possibly even bass fishing, catfishing, in my opinion. So, for example, this is I will say, a discontinued reel, but shout out to Paul. He handed these down to me. I bought these off of him. It's a Daiwa, which everybody pronounces it how they want. Anyways, it's a Regal 4000 BRI. You know how crazy those names get. Yeah, anyways, don't really care too much about that. The whole point is I'll show you two of them and some of the benefits that I've seen personally, and also applications that I've used them for, which is pretty cool. So we'll just jump right into it. So for example, this is kind of a big spin reel. It holds a good amount of line. Nice big knob, flows really smooth, obviously twists it out, folds in. Nice firm seating here. Perfect little bail. Will not pop or close open unintentionally, only when you want. I even like that it sits kind of lower than most. Instead of flush, it actually tilts down, so it really will stay down if fish are trying to pull on it. In my opinion, this is perfect or intended for carp. The reason why I say that, and the whole point of me kind of bringing this up, is because I did not ever know, or I didn't know about dual drag. Do you know what dual drag is? Maybe not. If so, then kudos to you. Anyway, so what that means is, here we always have our top, I'm gonna say that now, top drag, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know. Anyways, this adjusts the tension on the drag here like a normal spin reel. Like a bait caster, you have your star, same thing. So you tighten this, that's obviously gonna adjust this drag. The secondary drag, and what I mean by that is, here you actually have a lever or a knob that engages or disengages that secondary knob. And what that means is, here right now, so you hear that drag, let me tighten it down a bit. That's pretty firm. You're fighting the fish, you got a catfish, you got a carp, you're fighting them, it's not letting them pull too much. Now let's say for carp, as many of us carp anglers know, you always loosen that drag and you set your rod down. In my opinion, I would even use this for catfishing, so I can personally choose how hard I want to set the hook. And what I mean by that is, so we have this primary drag, you hear that? And then, so we have that primary drag, you hear that? Once you engage the secondary drag, it immediately loosens it up and it makes a loud click. It's very audible. So with carp, as many of us know, You throw your bait out, you let it sit, and the carp, they have mushy lips, so you don't want to have it like catfish where it's cranked down, tight drag. They're gonna set themselves. Carp bolt and take off sometimes and peel drag so hard that they will rip it out. Especially here in Texas, we have trophy carp, wild carp, grass carp, buffalo, commons, and you do want to engage that secondary drag because it'll allow them to run. You'll hear it, and then whenever you click back on or you turn your knob, it'll engage your primary drag. So you don't have to, oh, let me open the bail, tighten my drag, close it, and then reel. It eliminates all of that. It's no thinking about it. So let's say I have that carp taken off, boom, 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 or a catfish, whatever species, and then you reel, it automatically engages. Let's hear that again. So it's taken off. Uh-oh, I got a carp. Let me pick up my rod. Boom, engages, and then you can start fighting the fish. From there, you can adjust, obviously, your own personal preference with your drag. Let me tighten it down, let me loosen it. But it's a really cool concept, and this down here even tightens or loosens that secondary drag. So that to me is having two drags at the same time without even thinking. You set it pre-hand or before, and you're ready to go. Another cool thing about these reels, so here I'm actually running, I have a braid backing and a 20-pound fluoro leader. Quite a bit of it, honestly, because I didn't want to run fluoro all the way down. So we'll put this one aside and let me show you my other one. This one's running all 30-pound braid, and it holds easily, I want to say maybe 150 to 200 yards of this braid. I've gotten nowhere close to getting spooled yet with the carp, knock on wood, but same concept with this one. Really cool, that secondary drag. One other cool thing that I do like about this, or this specific reel, and there may be other reels out there, or you could even check out the aftermarket to see if there's maybe other spools that you can get. So I have 30-pound fluoro here, that 30-pound braid with a 20-pound fluoro leader over there, or a huge leader, and it came with multiple spools. I have 3 extra spools just for this reel. So here I'm running 20-pound braid. I don't have to take all that line off. If I'm fishing maybe no snags, I want to get more distance, more line out, so this is gonna hold a lot more line than 30-pound. It's only 20 pounds, super thin. Here I'm running straight fluoro all the way down, 20-pound fluoro, and you can just swap these out without even have to, oh, let me re-spool for this, let me re-spool for that. You don't have to think about that at all. This I'm running just straight 30 again. So I can run both with braid, and you can throw whatever preference. You want to even fish this for, I don't know, bluegill, something light. Those options are pretty endless. Anyways, that's pretty cool. So I'll just slap this on here real quick. So we pretty much got covered the dual drag with these. These are my preferred, honestly, just entry-level reels that I have to catch both cats and carp. Just a little up close of them. Very cool reels. Daiwa. One of my favorite brands, honestly. Quality is just unmatched. Don't get me wrong, I've tried Abu Garcia, I've tried Shimano, Corrado DCs. Everybody has their own preference. That's a whole nother ball game. Anyways, here I'm actually running, you don't have to get anything fancy. One that has actually caught a lot of my carp, catfish, bass, even little panfish, bluegill, some pretty big bluegill as well. This is a fairly big entry-level Shakespeare. I believe this comes with the Ugly Stick GX2 rod, or one of them. But it's You can see it flows pretty smooth, light little handle. It's pulled in 20 plus pound carp, several small catfish, nothing to brag about, but you don't have to get anything fancy. For you beginners, even advanced amateur people, it all depends on how much you're willing to invest and how far you're willing to go, or preference really. Here I'm running that same 30-pound braid. I got quite a bit of it. This has a big spool. I was running that same 20-pound fluoro on there, leader, pretty big, maybe 10-15 foot, but I've been cutting down on that. But anyways, yep, same concept, except this does not have that dual drag for carp, so I do have to adjust my drag before, once I set the rod down, so you don't forget, you don't get the rod yanked out, or if you're going for cats, this has pretty good drag. It'll tighten down. I don't know the pounds, but yeah, that's anything here in freshwater, yeah, you'll get away with it. One other thing that I did want to cover is, you know, a lot of people ask me, hey man, how do you catch carp? What do you use? And then those that do know, rod and reel we're talking about, they say put a little piece of corn on a sunfish hook. Hey, don't get me wrong, a little small hook, put normal pieces of corn, real corn on there, and it is effective. I personally have not tried it because I skipped that phase, and I guess I'm just blessed to have experienced anglers that taught me more effective ways. So one thing that I do want to mention is here in the US, carp angling is not as big as maybe in other countries, the entire world, let's say. It is fairly big in other parts of the world. I believe here in the US it's the least popular, honestly. Anyways, so this is gonna be what they call a hair rig. It's basically just a standard swivel. This is actually just a swivel I put on myself. But this is like an Amazon, you can order hair rigs. Just Google that, hair rig for carp, and it should pop up. Basically what that means is just a piece of braid, sometimes maybe different line, coated braid, so it doesn't kink, it doesn't tie around itself when you cast it. But anyways, the whole concept is you don't put corn or bait on the hook because the carp have very, very sensitive lips. They're bottom feeders, so they literally just suck on the bottom. They suck in the silt, suck in the dirt, suck in grass, vegetation, bugs, craws, depending on what they're foraging on or what's available. But they're filter feeders. And one of the favorite things that I've noticed here in the US that we use is corn. Obviously it's a visible thing. Carp can grow fairly big, so their eyesight to me is outstanding. It's unmatched from my experience, what I've seen in clear water. All sizes of carp, they're very finicky, spooky, and they can detect things like it's just insane in my opinion. But anyways, very, very smart fish, don't get me wrong. So this whole concept with the hair rig, getting back to that, is it has a knotless knot. They put a sleeve here so it doesn't tangle, protects the knot, and it helps the hook ratio. But what this does is it sits, and then this corn, sometimes depending on the ones you use or how much it may pop up, because this is a fake rubber corn, so turtles don't eat it, cats hopefully they love it. Anyways, since the carp are bottom feeding, they're gonna suck on that. They're gonna suck up this corn, and in goes the hook. Once they spit it out, they're hooked, and then you're the whole taking off and the fighting is a whole nother story. But that's essentially what a hair rig is. Not even going into detail, not even, they get very complicated, as complicated as you want to get. This one is my preferred because I tie it myself, Spro swivel, heavy duty. Just 30-pound braid. Same thing, knotless knot there. And then 1/4 is the brand. Pop-up hook, because this has more buoyancy, it's bigger, they'll see it closer to the hook for me, right on the edge or the curve of the hook, so that if it floats or it's sitting on the bottom, they're gonna suck it in and spit it out. That hook is always gonna be just razor sharp. These are unmatched quality, even compared to some bass hooks. It's just, oh man, these are superb. And then it show you kind of a glimpse of what the actual rig looks like. Since I'm running braid on my other one, I obviously have to put a fluoro leader, so it's just a longer line. But if you're not, then you basically just put any kind of honeycomb style lead or weight. And what you do is, I get pack bait, and what that is like a dough bait that you put around this weight. You squeeze it on there, you make a fist, you squeeze it on there, so you can cast it out, but it'll dissolve once it hits the water. And what that does is it creates a puddle of bait around your hair rig. So all this bait around that, they're gonna come around, suck it up, and eventually they're gonna suck in your hook. This weight is just gonna set the hook. That's all it helps for. It helps keep it on the bottom, helps keep the pack bait on there and chunk it out. But that's kind of like a catfish weight, like a sinker weight. It just, once they pull, sets the hook. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's kind of just a little crash course into what I personally use, what I've learned, what I've seen on YouTube, Facebook, many different groups, online, Googling, and kind of investigating myself. So really it's all up to you if you just want to do something basic, and it may be effective. You know, there's not a right or wrong way. It's all really just trial and error, so do what you feel is best for you. You can use even, I've used 8-pound line, 6-pound line to pull in 15-pound carp, but you have to really ease on the drag. Do not be afraid to loosen that drag and let them run. But anyways, yeah, have fun.